Good morning, everybody. It's Jenny, and I'm so excited to have you here again today for our 21-day challenge, Design Your Best Year. And we are going to dive right in. Let's get started today. Welcome. This is our second session together in the 21-day challenge. My name is Jenny, and I am your coach and your guide through this journey of personal exploration. And in this challenge, our goal is for you to take ownership over your role in designing a legacy and a life worth living. I am super excited to be sharing more tips and insights and tricks to empower you and to support you on this next phase of your challenge and beyond. And I'm also interested in hearing some of your experiences thus far, your wins, maybe some of the obstacles and some of the resistance that you've been feeling or experiencing already in this challenge. And know that that is perfectly normal, very, very human of us to feel some resistance to change. So we know now that this 21-day challenge is really all about reflection through journaling and scripting to help you uncover inner wisdom that perhaps you haven't been able to tap into or align with in your life thus far. Oops. Here we go. So in today's session together, we are going to dive into the invitation and inspiration that comes along this path of us going inside to discover that inner wisdom, that inner voice. We're going to also talk a little bit about that balance in life between the doing and the hustle and the grind with the being in the present moment. The activities that we're going to be doing today and what we're going to be talking about are designed to align with and be parallel to the work that you're doing in the 21-day challenge, so that this work that we talk about here will complement the work that you've been already doing within the challenge. And so today we're going to shed a little bit of light on our values, intentions, boundaries, non-negotiables, stories, lessons learned, and what our growth mindset is or maybe is not. Next week, when I see you, is where we really start to dive into how do I take all of this knowledge and information and begin to design that year that I'm super excited about. And most importantly, how do you start to live it? Because it's one thing to design it and to create it. It's an entirely different thing for you to embrace it, embody it, and live it and stay aligned throughout your 365 plus days beyond this next year and beyond. So let's get rolling. Let's start today with a little bit of reflection. And let's pause for just a moment. I've picked a card for you again today. Love Powered Co. What's your superpower? Totally at random. And what an amazing card we have for today. Grit is my power. I am gritty. I am tenacious. I am spirited. I embrace failure as a part of the process. And I persevere until I reach my goal. I am gritty. Can you think of a time where you were gritty, where you showed your tenacity, your resilience? How did it make you feel to pull from that superpower? Grit is your power. And I think we're going to need a little bit of grit to stick with your 21-day challenge and the design that you create for yourself moving into this next year. So an amazing superpower for you to harness and embrace. Let's do a little check-in. How are you doing with the challenge? A few touch points for you this morning. Let's reflect back to what drew you to participating in this challenge. What is your reason? What is your why? We talked about that last week together. Remembering your why, remembering your intention for the time in this challenge and beyond into this year. Using that consistently as a touch point will help you to stay aligned, should provide you with some motivation, and when you need it, will help you dig up that grit that we were just talking about, to have the resilience, to have the tenacity, to stay focused. Think for a moment about the outcome that you're hoping to achieve. And what are you willing to do to get there? Nothing worthwhile is easy. So we have to be willing to put in the time, to put in the work, to keep going when it gets tough. So my question for you this past week, have you been all in with this challenge? Are you getting in your own way? Have there been days where you didn't look at your workbook, where you didn't create space for yourself to take a little bit of time to journal or to do some scripting? If the answer is yes, then you need to revisit those key touch points. Tune into your why and your intentions, and make yourself a promise today, right here, right now in this moment, to recommit. You are worth it. Designing an incredible year is worth it. Using that year as a foundation to start to build and lean on for the rest of your life, that's priceless. But you do need to choose to invest the time in you. So some more reflections. Just take a moment, think about your last week, or just think about yesterday, and consider for a moment how much time in your days, in your weeks, even your months, are you spending in the hustle, in the grind, in the act of doing, versus how much time and space are you giving yourself to simply be, to be present in whatever moment you're in? with whomever you're with, whether that be yourself, your family, a colleague, a coworker, a friend. How much time and space do you gift yourself to be? And then consider whether that has any balance to it. Are you a creature of habit and spending so much time doing that you don't give yourself enough space to be? When those don't have natural ebbs and flows that balance out over time, we end up in an energy shortage. And that energy shortage can be what keeps us from truly showing up the way we want to show up. It can keep us from hearing and listening to that inner wisdom. And it can get us off our path. Some more reflections. How are you feeling right now in this moment in your body? Take a moment. Do a quick scan. How are you energetically? How is your body feeling? What state of mind are you in? How are you feeling? And then ask yourself, is this how I want to feel? How do you wish you could feel? And what is something right now in this moment that you're excited about, that you're looking forward to, that you're grateful for? Because it helps us to shift if we are not feeling in the energetic state that we wish to be in, if we are not feeling like we are where we want to be or how we want to be experiencing this moment, this time, this life, we have the ability to shift. And one of the best tools that you will have in your toolbox is to be able to recognize those things that spark excitement, those things that bring you joy or bliss, those things that we are grateful for can reset and reshape our mindset, which can drastically alter our reality. So let's dive into the challenge again and think about how this challenge was designed to be progressive and take you on a journey of self-discovery. Because let's be honest, we don't often carve out enough time in our lives to go in and dig deep to do some of that inside work. And yet it's that inside work, it's listening to that inside voice that provides us with an invitation to pay attention, an invitation to discover new paths, an invitation to recreate or redesign our lives, an invitation to realign and readjust, and the inspiration for the art of what is possible. Taking the time to listen to those whispers of your inner sage. Taking time to listen to decipher the difference between your inner wisdom and your inner mean girl, your inner demon, your shadow side and shadow voice, your fears, your ego. Being able to reflect on those voices and say, thank you, but no. And listen to the quieter voice that is there to guide us to where we truly want to be. So today's discoveries, today's lessons are going to help align with the work that you've been doing within your journaling and your scripting. So to have clarity on where we are today and where we would like to be tomorrow, we need to have clarity on our values, our intentions, what boundaries we're going to need, our individual mission, vision, understanding some of our past stories and the lessons that we've learned, the ones we haven't learned yet, and a glimpse into our mindset. This is stuff that I love to dive into. And I will do this work and revisit it typically on a quarterly basis. And so these are things that you can think about, put on your calendar once or twice a year to see if what we talk about today and what you discover still aligns with you. And it all starts with those core values, your system. Understanding what your personal beliefs are and what is important to you. Once you have clarity on these core values, they can help guide you. And you will see how they impact who you are, what you believe, and how you show up in life. Your challenge with your journaling and your scripting is one piece. Today, I want you, or in the next couple of days, if you don't already have a list of your top 3 to 5 core personal values, then that's homework for you. You should be able to list your top values in life. If you don't know what those are, then there are so many tools on the internet that will help you determine what most deeply resonates with you. In your follow-up email, there will be some links to take you to some online quizzes that will help you go through and find your top values. And then you will see how interconnected those values are with how you're going to begin to design other elements of your life. So let's talk about your intentions again. First, we have those core values, those beliefs on what is truly important, our life principles. Then we have an intention. Again, we go back to 1, why are we doing this challenge? What is your why statement for life? How in life do you want to feel? What type of legacy do you want to live? How do you want to be seen? And how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to show up? What impact do you want to have in this world, in your sphere, in your family? Here's a bit of a tough one, and yet so important. And we often will feel immediately off balance, out of alignment, out of sync, hurt, afraid, when we don't have clarity on our boundaries, when we lack the ability to communicate our boundaries, or when we need to shift our boundaries. Personal boundaries are the limits and rules that you set for yourself and for others. And healthy boundaries are a reflection of your principles, values, and the rules that you set for yourself. So you can already see that if you don't have clarity on what you truly value, then you can't yet begin to set boundaries to help you protect those values, to help you invest in those values. So once you have your values, it opens you up to the ability to figure out then how to best design boundaries to protect those values. And when we're looking to design boundaries, we get to tune into our emotions, which are often the strongest indicator that something is off. When we're feeling hurt, when we're feeling afraid, when we're feeling anxious, when we're feeling frustrated, when we're feeling not seen or not heard, when we just feel off, it's often because there's something happening at a personal values level that requires a boundary to be set, reset, or adjusted. We get to tune into our thoughts to help us set those boundaries. But most importantly, we have to get clear on those values. Our values being those key priorities, the must-haves in our life, because they deserve to be protected and invested in. And we can have different types of boundaries, because boundaries are about relationships with ourselves and relationships with others. So we may have like physical boundaries, privacy, personal space, your own body. You may have emotional boundaries that need to be established to help you stay in touch with your feelings. You might have energetic boundaries, things that you need to do to help you maintain that level of energy that you want to have in life. There can be all sorts of boundaries, and boundary work can be really pivotal in living your best life. My apologies. Let's try to get these slides to go the direction we want. Here we go. So personal boundaries are very much about those rules required for us to successfully be who we want to be, show up how we want to be with others. And it teaches them how to best show up with us. Non-negotiables are a way for you to figure out the must-haves in your life that will set you up for success and to be thriving. Right? So however you define success, maybe, the word thriving really speaks to you. Maybe growth, winning, success, whatever it is. What does it take for you to be the best version of you? And I like to think about non-negotiables as things that need to happen every day And so my non-negotiables are built into my daily habits, my daily routines. These are the things that feed or fuel my body, my mind, and my spirit to allow me to be the best me. If you're familiar with what it takes for you to show up, those need to be mini promises that you make to yourself, and not promises that you easily break, shift, change, negotiate your way out of. Thusly, they're called non-negotiables. You choose these for you every single day. What might those be for you? Take a moment right here and think of 3 to 5 things that will help you thrive in your day. If you're a little bit stuck on what that might be, you can think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, there's a flashback to high school science for, for some of us, right? Where it's the basic fundamentals that we need to have. And on the bottom, safety and security is pivotal. Down at the bottom of that pyramid, it's also some of the other common things, like we need food, we need water. So in my personal non-negotiables, I have things like drink the water, nourish yourself. And I chose nourish myself because for me, that can take on many paths. So I can nourish myself with the food choices that I make in a day. I can nourish myself with whatever I choose. So I nourish myself with the music that I choose to listen to, the information that I choose to absorb. So there's some days where I need to think to myself, is the news right now nourishing me? Is this something that I want or need to be absorbing? How is this serving me? So nourishment for me is mind, body, and spirit nourishment. One of my non-negotiables is I need to move my body every day. Again, some of you may have naturally gone to, oh man, I need to exercise. Exercise is a non-negotiable. And that might be for you. That might be true. What I would like for you to consider is, do you ever feel resistance to exercise? If the answer is yes, then you're going to have to dive a little deeper and go into that and figure out what that is. I know the importance of exercise and the importance of moving my body. But I also know that I need to gift myself some space and sometimes choose that being overdoing. Sometimes choose the ebb over the flow, the ease. And so I need to move, but it doesn't have to be a high intensity exercise. It doesn't have to be cardio. It doesn't have to be weight training. It doesn't need to fit a certain mold. I just need to promise myself that I will allow this body that I'm in and gifted with to move a little every day. That might mean yoga. That might mean a walk. It might mean a really great cardio session or some weights. It might mean putting on a really fun playlist and just dancing. I move my body every day. Another non-negotiable, which links right back into my values, is I need to connect. I need to connect with myself, and I need to connect with others who are important to me. So that might give you some ideas and some inspiration on what your non-negotiables might be. Maybe it's your morning routine. Maybe it's your meditation. Maybe your journaling becomes part of a non-negotiable if there's value in that for you. Try to come up with 3 to 5 non-negotiables that are linked to your values. Stories. We all have stories. For many of us, those stories are now saved in the recesses of our mind as memories. So take a moment and think about what stories in your life have been the most transformational. Think about the stories in your life that have been the most memorable. Note the difference. Often the most memorable moments in our lives are the ones that we can recall that bring back the joy of the moment. The birth of a child, our wedding day, a childhood memory, something out of the ordinary, maybe a big trip, exploration, a milestone in your life. Often the stories or the memories that were the most transformational were the difficult ones, were the obstacles, were the pain points in life. And you right now, in working towards designing your best year, are actually pre-scripting your once upon a time. And there's power in that. Being able to design, create, write, be the author of your own story. When we think about stories from the past and those memories, sometimes they go unchecked. Sometimes those past stories become our present thoughts. And it's in those moments where we need to recognize that we have a choice to make in terms of validating that thought. Is this true today? How did that past story create a narrative? And how is that narrative serving you today? Or is it maybe not serving you today, in which case you have an opportunity to begin to shift and change and edit that narrative. Stories are powerful. Within each of our stories of our life, we have lessons that we've learned. Some of those lessons we've learned from our parents. some of our lessons we've learned from our hardships, from our trials, and from our tribulations, from those obstacles, from the mess in life. And what's really interesting with some of those life lessons is I would love for you to spend a little bit of time thinking about this. What are some of the key lessons that you've learned in life? And how can you leverage those lessons and use the skills and the knowledge that you developed through living through those challenges and obstacles in life to serve you better today? And are there perhaps some lessons that we haven't learned yet? If there's an area of your life that you see as you're journaling that is repetitive, obstacles that you keep running into, challenges that you keep feeling resistance, often that's because there's a lesson in that. There's a nugget of information that you haven't pulled apart to look at yet and made the choice to take inspired action with that information, to find the message in your mess, to find the beauty in the cracks, because it's those cracks where we actually truly connect, not only with ourselves and our own story, but that's how we really get to connect with others. So our stories and life lessons are key to understanding where we've been and where we want to go. The important thing with all of these pieces of information and nuggets, you're going to dive in, you're going to figure out what your top 5 personal values are, and you're going to start to think about what some boundaries might be, and you're going to design, your mission and your vision and all of those awesome pieces, and you're going to be having aha moments while you write. The trick is always to make sure that as you go along and learn information, that you personalize it, that you individualize it, that you customize it. I'm providing you with some ideas, some tools, some strategies. You need to try to find ways to customize those tools, resources, and strategies, because that is going to make it stick. That is going to make the difference. To find something that sparks joy, to find a tool, a routine that will resonate with you. That will help you live the design that you start to create. Example, if you are a visual person and you like to craft, then creating a vision board, something that you can see every day, will likely resonate with you. If you can fill it with beautiful pictures and words and things that mean something to you, and you like to craft, then the activity itself will also spark joy, so that when you look at that vision board, and again, it doesn't have to be a board. You could build your vision board in your journal. You could surround yourself with pictures that spark joy. Remember, I said that I needed to connect. Nature is also one of my non-negotiables. It's something that I value. I have pictures of amazing places and moments that I've been able to witness, to see, to visit, trails that I've hiked. And I see it when I wake up in the morning, and I see the pictures when I'm online and sharing time with you. And that sparks joy. For some people, writing is going to be where it's at, which is why journaling and scripting is such an amazingly powerful tool. You may have heard earlier in January and even late December, some buzz about having the word of the year or a phrase to support that word of the year. And if you're visual, then you're going to want to have it somewhere that you can see it. If you're an auditory learner, then you're going to want to have it in a format that you can listen to it. Perhaps grab your phone and record your own voice with an affirmation that you've created for that word or that phrase. Maybe you need to talk about it so that you can be formulating it and also hearing it. Maybe you need to feel it. And so perhaps meditations, reading what you've written in your journal, focusing on not just the thoughts and the ideas, but how those thoughts and ideas are going to make you feel. That's why that's such an important piece of how you script, is so that it starts to resonate deeper inside you, which will help you move that forward. You need to personalize, customize, individualize. Right? There's a reason why places like Starbucks are so popular. It's not because we can't make our own coffee or our own hot chocolate at home. It's about the experience that is created and the fact that you can literally, again, make that drink individualized just for you. Your goal is to build your tools and your habits that are individualized to you, but also think about designing your days, your weeks, your months, and yes, your year should be designed and customized just for you. And if that's an area where you start to get stuck, then my friends, you are in the right place with the right person. This is my wheelhouse. I eat, sleep, and breathe personal development, but I also eat, sleep, and breathe the creation of unique tools and systems designed to specific individuals. I get to know you and what makes you tick. And together we can find and create that customized plan and that customized approach for you. So we've done a lot. We've talked a lot about some fun things for you to start to dive into this week, along with whatever days in the journey you are. Know that if you have any questions or you've had some thoughts or some ideas or some sparks over the last week, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to drop them in the chat now. Feel free to reach out by email. Where you're headed in this next week is so fun because it really starts to take you towards that designing. It's putting it all together. For those of you that are in that second week of your challenge, then you've actually been building some ideas and hopefully building some momentum for yourself over this past week also. So your next steps are to keep with it, keep journaling, keep scripting, keep finding those moments to just be. Stick with it. Find joy in those moments. Find joy in your practice. Let's end today with an affirmation, a little mindful moment. Here's a simple affirmation, and you can add this to your morning journaling routine if you feel that that will serve you. When you're working towards creating a new path, sometimes we need that grit that we talked about earlier today, right? Sometimes we need grit as our superpower. As we start to take action, momentum will build. And that's what brought me to this affirmation. I am creating momentum in my life, doing more of the things that serve me, move me forward, and bring me joy. I can live in alignment with my values and intentions, and I will take inspired steps towards my goals today. This is an affirmation that I write every morning as part of my journaling routine. It reminds me of the fundamentals. It reminds me of my key goal for this year, which is that I want momentum. I want ease in my life. I want to do the things that are good for me, that move me forward toward my goals, but also that bring me joy. It reminds me that I have the power of choice to live in alignment, to choose things that align with my personal values and my life intentions. And lastly, it's a promise to take inspired actions toward my goals today. Do one thing today that will move you forward. Just one. Imagine how that would feel. And we talked about personalization. So if this affirmation doesn't serve you, then you are going to create your own. And I encourage you to use the format of I am, I can, and I will. If you are visual, you are going to write it. If you are auditory, you are going to write it, read it, or record it and listen to it. If you don't like listening to your own voice, have a good friend record it for you, and you can listen to that on a daily basis. You need to connect with your vision. So let's take a moment. Wherever you are, get comfortable. If you're not ready to ground, pause the recording. Come back to it when you would like to go a little bit deeper in your mindful moment. Close your eyes. And focus on your breath. Think about the river and the water flowing. Take a deep breath in and let it all out. Today's affirmation is for gaining momentum. I am so excited about the momentum that I am gaining. I am taking inspired actions, and I am so proud of myself. I am moving forward in my life with ease and flow. Things just keep working out for me. I wake up every day eager to see how the day unfolds. The energy, ideas, people, and resources I need come easily. It feels good to not be afraid to step into the unknown. So many incredible things are just beyond my comfort zone. And when I take steps toward my desires, no matter how small, no matter how messy, good things happen for me as a result. The more comfortable and confident in action taking than waiting on the sidelines. I wake up every morning refreshed and ready to take action. I am living my dreams, my best life, and showing up every day. I can do, be, and have whatever I want. I am on my way to my envisioned life, and nothing and no one will stop me. I experience more highs than lows. Everything is coming together exactly how I intended it. I am accomplishing things I once thought were too hard. I know now that nothing is too hard, as long as I believe in myself. I am focused on my desires and always get what I need. I am creating momentum in my life, doing more of the things that move me forward, and I will take inspired actions toward my goals today. Take 3 deep breaths in and out. And when you are ready, open your eyes. I truly hope that you feel amazing. Remember that you can come back and play today's recording, play just that little mindful moment as many times as you need. I want you to stay motivated and encouraged. And of course, choose something that works just for you. Personalize your habits and your routines. Until next time, my friends, keep those good vibes rolling and happy scripting. Remember that you are creating momentum in your life, and you are going to do more of the things that move you forward. Design that best year of your life and live your legacy every day. We'll see you next week.